just cancel, clear that out for a few minutes. For that, I'm going to do two things. Number one, I promise you, I'm going to get you out of here early enough to be first in line to use that free drink ticket. Okay, seriously, because we all need it about now. We like to make all of Florida humid, so you really enjoy it. Second of all, if you leave here without a nugget or a jewel, I like to say jewels, because we're all going to be diamonds, if you aren't already, I promise you, I will buy you a drink. Because I am not a professional network marketer. I'm absolutely not. Therefore, my story is going to be like a lot of your journeys, or like a lot of the journeys of people that you are going to touch in the next few years. And so my journey does not come from a professional sales point of view. In newsrooms, I don't know, some of you may have worked in some, but here's the newsroom where we're news gathering, and please don't make judgments on the media of today. I'm an old journalist. And over here, upstairs, is the sales team. And when the sales team comes to the newsroom, we literally are like, we're not looking, because they're going to say, oh, you know that story you're doing on the pool guy? He's our client, drop it. So we're not big sales fans. Okay, so if a skeptic like me of sales, and don't even get me started on an MLM, pyramid schemes, can go, right, from a skeptic to standing in front of professional MLMers, it is proof that this industry can work for anyone. But there are some caveats. There are some things that whether you're in it for 10 years or in it for 10 minutes, I learned that I had to do to go to the top of the very first company I was ever in. I've only been in 2. This is my second run. Number 1, I know you hear it all the time, but I want to expound. It's network marketing, not work marketing. I usually don't even say that because it's a double negative. And as a journalist, we don't like double negatives. But it's appropriate because you have to work. If you join us and thought, oh my gosh, so-and-so is making $25,000 a week, I'm going to get a $25,000 a week check in a month, you be cray. You're going to have to work. And here's how I would say work. We know the system. We're going to talk about the system. But if you use an iPhone calendar or a hard calendar, I would challenge you tonight, when you're just sitting in bed and you're processing, go in your calendar and carve out 10 minutes to hour, however long you have designated that you want to commit to your gel business a day. Put it in your calendar. The same way as you would put a doctor's appointment. The same way as you would put a gym appointment, or not. The same way you would put your hair color appointment for girls. Oh, maybe guys too. Put it in your calendar and make sure that those 30 minutes or hour, or however long you designate, and again, however long that number is however fast you're going to move in this company. Make sure that that time is IPA. And I'm not talking about drinking a beer. I'm talking about income-producing activities. Income-producing activities. And this is something I learned super quickly, guys, because remember, I knew nothing. And my mentor said, it's got to be income-producing activities. And I said, I've watched that video 4 times. That was 20 minutes. And she said, but it produced no income. I thought, oh yeah, that's right. Income-producing activities. Reaching out to people, following up with people, putting them in the groups, sending them to get on the gel. And most importantly, at least to me, is getting them on that 3-way call. So, it's network, not work. And the other one thing I found, and this is my personal view, I have not learned this from any network marketer that I have been honored to work with. It is also not me marketing or I marketing, or my marketing actually. It is a network, it is a team. Any diamond ambassador in this company did not get there on their own. They had an entire team behind them. So if you are talking to a potential prospect, or your own team, matter of fact, and you're using my and me, I would encourage you. I like to share with my team. It is so simple, right? To change this to this, and it is absolutely amazing if you change the me to a we. What will happen, A, within your team culture, and B, within your prospecting. And here's why. Again, psychology. If I'm talking to you and I'm like, wow, I'm going to the top of this company. You could come with me. I'm going to be a diamond ambassador. There is not a lot of room for me in that statement. But if you say, our team is on fire, our team is supportive, we have goals, we share them with each other, and we help each other reach them, there's room for me in that statement, isn't there? It's like, oh wait, I like that. They help each other. The other one is like intimidating, number one, because I have absolutely no network marketing background. How am I going to be like her or him? So I would encourage you, when you walk out these doors, if you're posting, because we all know social media is everything now, and if you've just reached a rank or people are congratulating you, please say our team, please say we, please say us, and watch the difference just within your own team culture. And again, this is something that I learned because that's how we work in newsrooms. There's no I. Yes, the anchors do have an ego, but there's still no I. They couldn't be up there without everyone else. So if you'll just change me to we, I think you'll see a difference, and it's a simple thing to do. The other thing that I actually learned when I came into this industry about 5-6 years ago is there's a skill that everyone needs, that they actually do every single day. You guys did it from the moment you wake up, you'll do it to the moment you go to bed. Your husbands do it, I think. Your moms do it. Your dogs definitely do it. Your cats, I am not so sure about those cats, and that is listening. It's listening. And I'm going to tell you that what I learned when I came to this industry, I am not a professional network marketer, but I am a professional listener. For 30 plus years, I have listened to people's stories. And I haven't listened to say, but I have the gel. I have listened because I'm truly telling their story as a career. So I had to hone my listening skills from this to this. And so I will say the one thing that I did bring to this industry, the one thing, was killer listening skills. And when I started building a team, we all together honed our listening skills. We worked on being quiet and truly listening and hearing people's words. Because when you think about what they're saying, instead of what you need to say, it's amazing the conversations you will hear. And so I'm going to give you proof. There's too many people to get up, so I'm just going to ask you, just look around. Even if you know the person next to you, it'll work, but ideally somebody you don't know well, just kind of make eye contact and ask, you know, can we talk? That's it. No more than can we talk. Just find one other person, two, if you're around. Can we talk? Okay. Now what we're going to do is this. Now what we're going to, it's like Joan Rivers, right? I actually interviewed Joan Rivers, and she was super nice. Super nice. So this is what we're going to do, guys. We're going to introduce each other, but there's rules. No names, unless it's the other person's names. I don't say Tony, you don't say your name. You can use the other person's name if you can see it. If not, that's fine. You cannot tell the other person where you're from, what you do for a job, either day job or jail job, or what your family structure is. Kids, dogs, grandpas, aunts, uncles. No. Do not tell them where you're from, what you do, or your family structure. But you still must say 3 things about yourself that tells them something about yourself. Okay? So, be thinking about passions, purpose, things that mean something to you, things that you've actually been thinking about other than your life in the last hour. For example, I'll use me. Oh, it's so nice to meet you. I am so waiting till tomorrow because it's Saturday college football, Saturday in the fall. My family literally lives, eats, breathes, and creates our entire Saturday around college football, specifically SEC, go Gators. I love the ocean. I grew up in a place where there's an ocean, so I'm always wanting to be near the ocean. I just think vitamin C, SEA is so soothing, right? And I know this is crazy, but I'm going to share it with you. I have this crazy dream, and I might be able to actually make it reality. I'm a big rescue mom dog, and when I would go to rescues, I noticed that senior dogs never get adopted. Puppies, 2-year-old, but never seniors, and I don't even want to talk what happens to them. So I have this dream of having this plot of land and little cute cottages with air conditioning for the senior dogs. And guess what? I just found something that is literally going to make my dream come true. Nice. Do you see the difference, guys? Now, if you will introduce yourself, and I'm not saying right away, obviously you're going to get a relationship, but in here, you're going to practice. You're going to introduce yourself using 3 things that tell the other person who you are. I'm going to give you about 30 to 45 seconds, and then I'll call it, and you switch, okay? So 30 to 45 seconds for one person, 30 to 45 for the other, okay? And there's no pause. Ready, set, go. If you will just go a little deeper, if you will just ask the other person questions that will get what you just said out of them, right? A little deeper questions, not the same old thing. And the reason I'm asking you to do this is because then listening becomes a lot more active because you're not doing the routine and you're not listening to the routine, so you therefore have to engage in active listening. I'm going to tell you, if you will just go a little deeper when you meet someone, if you want to be brave, tell them a little something crazy. And say, I want to tell you something crazy about myself. I want to open a dog farm for senior dogs. How crazy is that? Right? But it engages a whole different conversation. And I'm going to stand here and tell you that you are going to get to their pain faster. Because I don't want to hear about your pain relief agent unless I have told you about my pain. I'm going to say it again. I am not a professional network marketer. So I'm going to be very honest with you. I'm not a professional salesperson. So me going right for that is not comfortable. I'm a professional relationship builder. I'm a professional listener. So me getting to know you a little bit, you want to be in depth and know everything about them, but a little bit enough to hear that pain. To hear, oh, I love travel, but I haven't traveled in years. I'm working 2 jobs. I can barely afford a mortgage. Pain. What do we all have in this room? Pain. Right? That's why we're sitting here, because we found the greatest pain relief ever. Right? FDA aside, it may help alleviate aches, pains, sleep, energy, hair, blah, blah. The list is so long, right? It'll take care of your body pain, but it will also take care of your bank account pain. But I don't want to hear that unless you actually care about my pain. And I think the reason that our team was able to go from 0 to hero, literally, I went from ME to MLM, is because I cared about what these people were saying. And I listened and I said, hey, whether it was, aging, because we did have, and I'm allowed to say this, anti-aging in my first MLM, or financial, right? So that listening skill, if you'll just listen a little deeper, I think truthfully, whether you've been in 100 years or 10, it'll make a difference. So I'm going to ask you to listen while I tell my story of how I went from ME to MLM, and I promise you I'm telling this not at all to say I'm anything special, quite the opposite, to say that anyone can do this. To say that I literally, if you want somebody that doesn't believe in an MLM, we're sitting in the county where the biggest Ponzi scheme in the world took place. Madoff. I worked for a foundation in communications where his best friends were scammed by him. Do you think I was going to join a pyramid scheme? I thought it was the same thing as a Ponzi scheme. So why would I? I was the person you keep asking and they keep saying no. This is how it went. I was a single mom, as I said. This was about 5 years ago. And I had 2 kids, one a sophomore and one a senior at the time. My son is one of those, smart, geeky kids. He wouldn't mind if I say that because he is smart and geeky. He went to a school here in Palm Beach County that's an IB school, one of the best in the country actually, rated top 10 in the country. And he worked his butt off. And my ex and I had set up a little tiny college account when we got divorced because we were sure our kids were going to go on scholarship within Florida. You guys know, bright futures. My kids were getting a good GPA. We'd toss in a couple extra thousand and all be good. That was our plan. After all, his grandfather went to the University of Florida. I went to the University of Florida. His dad went to the University of Florida. Well, why was there any other choice? We're going through all the applications. I'm at work. I get this little message from a makeup artist that I know up in New York. She actually married one of my former reporters. That's how I knew her. Makeup artist. No business sense, makeup artist is my thinking. She tells me, hey, I have this new serum. It's an anti-aging serum. I think you really love it. It gets rid of wrinkles like Botox, but it's not. It's not Botox and it's cheaper. And it has natural properties. And I'm like, oh, hold up. I'm over 40. All these little blondies, 20-year-olds are nipping at my heels trying to get my seat. I'm like, what is the serum? And how much is it? She sends me a video. Sound familiar? Reach out to someone, send them the video. I start watching the video, and literally within 30 seconds, I'm like, MLM. Write her back. Sounds great, but no thank you, good luck. She writes back, we're literally live messaging. She writes back, why? I say MLM. She's like, understood. And the reason I say understood is because she did not argue with me, she did not try to convince me, she just said understood. She called a couple weeks later, checking in on Trevor because I had asked her a question about their son. She answered it. A day later, she sends me a before and after of her mother with the serum. Now, exactly like our testimonial group, except this was 6 years ago almost, we didn't have testimonial groups on Facebook. She sent me a before and after. It was amazing, but I was still not interested. It was an MLM. A few days later, maybe a week, I see her post on Facebook. So think about what's going on today all over our Facebook teams. Her standing there in a really pretty yellow dress. Women will appreciate that because, of course, I noticed the dress. With a big check that said $10,000. She's like, on a stage. And I'm like, I knew it was a Ponzi scheme. She just dropped that damn thing like a month ago. How could she already have a $10,000 check? I knew it. I am not liking that, because if I like that, she's going to reach out to me. If I make a comment, she'll be up in my stuff. Right? Because that's what you guys are going to do today. When you make rain and people comment, you're going to write their name down and you're going to say, do you want to know more? So I was hiding. I was in Facebook hiding. And the dang girl, because this is what I'm trying to teach you, did not give up. I had already told her no. I had already said MLM. She knew I didn't believe in it. She did not give up. She texted the stupid picture to me. Did you see my picture? I said, I love your dress. Congratulations. That's a true story. Literally, about 3 weeks later, my son, the brainiac, who had already gotten into the University of Florida and had a scholarship, says, I got into Georgia Tech University. Now this was his dream school, and since he's not in the room, I'll say, I was like, he's not going to get in, he's not going to get in. Because it's a very, very competitive, one of the top engineering schools in the world. And I'm thinking, I'm not going to worry about that, because I look like Scarlett O'Hara. I'll worry about that tomorrow. He walks in and says, Mom, I got in. I'm like, what? I got in. It's his dream, guys. He had sacrificed soccer, what he loves. He had sacrificed social to get a GPA to get him in. He's like, I want a family meeting. Again, I told you we have a really good divorce. He goes down the street. I go call Dad. Dad comes down. My daughter was still in high school. She was there. And my son makes a PowerPoint presentation on how I can go to Georgia Tech University. Because he knows we don't have that money for Georgia Tech University. And he has figured out how much loans he can get. and we're about $20,000 at that point. If we wanted to come home from Georgia, we're about, because we factored in flights, we're about $20,000 shy. And my ex, who I like to call financially smart, or cheap, says to my son, yeah, Trevor, that is so impressive. But yeah, that's just not gonna happen. And I say, I will make it happen. Because if you ever taught your kids or your aunt or your uncle or your grandparents that if you work hard for a goal and you achieve it, you aren't gonna rip that out of their hands over money, I'm thinking, oh, hell no. So my ex, Mike, looks at me and says, and goes home. I go up to my room and literally, I'm not kidding you, I'm looking at my jewelry drawer going, what can I pawn, okay? We already were living like, okay, P.S. TV people don't make as much as you think. We were already living as well as I could. We had no internet. We had already cut that out. Honest to God, 18 years ago, I cut out internet. Hulu was invented for me, I'd like to say. So we had already really cut. We weren't living lavishly, guys. Where am I going to come up with this? And it hits me. The damn yellow dress with the $10,000. Dang gone. And the reason I'm taking you through this is because on the outside, I'm on TV, guys. I'm in Palm Beach. I don't even want to tell you how many times I've interviewed the now President of the United States of America. It was a glam life from the outside in. I have 2 beautiful kids. I have a healthy divorce. You know, what more could you ask for? And a healthy divorce, what more can you ask for? In Palm Beach. So I, on the outside in, would not be a prospect. People might cross me off the list. Or if I said no, they'd give up. Oh, she's not interested. But in that one moment, everything changed. I called my friend. I said, call me back. She calls back. I go, I need to know more. She goes, oh, it has goji berry and this and that. I said, no, not about the serum, about the business. And she said, what the hell? I said, Trevor got into Georgia Tech. I got to get $20,000. And here's the key, guys. She did not try to say, oh, let me tell you all about the comp plan, and let's look at this, and I'm going to send it to you, and we'll go through it together. I knew my makeup artist friend didn't know anything about comp plans. Or if she did, she didn't know that much. And and P.S., she had never been in an MLM before either. She said the key words, which I want you to please listen to. She said, I don't know much about the comp plan or how to get to that amount, but I know someone who does. The person who enrolled me was in another MLM and made 6 figures. I'm like, okay, would you mind speaking to her? Absolutely not. Is she like a professional salesperson? No, she's a housewife that got divorced and needed to do something where she could stay home with her children. And I said, and she was making 6 figures in the other company? She said, absolutely. I said, let's talk. You guys, that call changed everything in my life. Truthfully, in that moment, I went from total skeptic to, oh my gosh, I have hope. Who cares if it's an MLM? I might be able to send my son to his dream school. And the reason I'm sharing this is because don't you think that every day in every household that you call, things change that you don't know about. A mother gets sick. An older person has to be put in hospice or assisted living, which costs money, right? Somebody needs to send a kid to school. You're not aware of that because maybe you haven't listened that well. Maybe you're over there just worried about your gel business and always talking to people next and next and next. You haven't really taken the next step to that prospect who you know would be really good, even if they are a skeptic, to really develop a relationship so that when they have pain like I'm talking about, when things change, they will reach out to you. And when they do, I am going to tell you that I don't care how many years you've been in this. If you will just suspend your ego, because somebody of that nature, and again, I'm not talking about people who have done a ton of these. I'm talking about people like me who had never done one at that time. They're going to be scared if you start spouting off comp plan, binary, and I can't even name those ingredients to this day in the gel. Sorry. Anything with more than like 5 consonants, I'm out. But if you're doing the ingredients, right, and why it's different than these shots, and how the binary plan works, and how your friend Kim is making $25,000 a week, they're thinking, oh my gosh, I have to do this? Hell no. I hardly have time for the groceries and getting the kids to soccer. Or, you know, running my company because we want to target successful business people. I'm already over here running my company and you want me to memorize gel and memorize binary comp plans? Hell no. But if you say, let me put somebody on the phone that knows about that, as my friend did, she put me on the phone with Mindy out in Arizona. Mindy and I talked for 1.5 hours. At the end of that 1.5 hours, of course I bought the biggest pack, no question. And she told me 3 things. And if you're new, please listen because it worked. Number 1, enthusiastic, you have to love the product. You have to love it. You cannot kind of like it. You cannot kind of believe in it. You have to love it. We had one product just like here, so it was super easy, and I loved it. Number 2, you have to, as we talked about in the beginning, carve out your IPA time every day. Well, at least Monday through Friday. In the beginning, we did do parties to introduce this, so there were parties on Saturdays. Thank God we're not doing that in the gel business, but Monday through Friday through Saturday is what we worked. And we carved out that time. She said, you gotta work. But number 3, and honest to goodness, this was the most important, is you have to be coachable. I know there's a lot of professionals that have joined